Years ago, deep in the vast savanna of Africa, there was a small village where a kind-hearted man named Armin lived, a man known for his gentle nature and his uncanny connection with the wild. One scorching summer day, while exploring the outskirts of the village, he stumbled upon a horrifying sight: a tiny lion cub, barely a few months old, lying helpless in the grass, wounded and dehydrated, its eyes reflecting pain and fear far beyond its age. Its mother had been killed by poachers, leaving the cub alone and starving, its soft cries barely audible over the sounds of the wilderness. Without a second thought, Armin scooped the trembling little creature into his arms and carried it back to his home, his heart aching at the sight of such innocence in danger. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, as he nursed the cub back to health, feeding it milk from a bottle, cleaning its wounds, and talking to it in soothing tones as he tended to it day and night. He named the cub Simba, a name that meant lion in the local language, though little did he know that the bond they were forming would transcend the boundaries of human and animal friendship forever. Simba grew quickly, his once fragile limbs now strong, his fur golden and shiny, his eyes alive with trust and love for the man who had saved him. But Armin knew he couldn't keep a wild animal forever, as the forest and the wild called to the lion, and despite his heartache, he prepared to release Simba back into nature, teaching him to hunt, to roam, to survive on his own while visiting him occasionally, leaving scraps of food at the edge of the forest, always keeping the bond alive but from a distance. Life moved on, and Armin continued his work as a local conservationist, saving animals, educating villagers, and spreading awareness about wildlife preservation. But one fateful day, years later, Armin fell ill suddenly. A rare infection had taken hold, and despite the best efforts of doctors, he was rushed into the hospital, weak, feverish, and struggling to breathe. His neighbors and friends gathered, worried, while news of his condition spread quickly through the village. Days passed, and Armin's health deteriorated. The hospital rooms were sterile and quiet, the beeping of machines marking the rhythm of his fragile life, and yet his mind often wandered back to Simba, to the days in the sun, to the soft purrs and playful nuzzles of the lion cub that had once depended entirely on him. Late one night, as the hospital hallways were silent, with only the occasional footsteps of a nurse or doctor, something extraordinary occurred. Security cameras later captured the unbelievable moment. A lion, large and majestic, with fur glinting in the moonlight streaming through the hospital windows, had somehow entered the compound. Doors were pushed open, fences climbed, and staff watched in shock and disbelief as the great beast walked with purpose, not aggression, straight toward Armin's room. The nurses and doctors froze, fearing an attack, but the lion's eyes, full of recognition and calm, immediately told a different story. It was Simba, the same cub Armin had saved years ago, now a fully grown, powerful lion, yet carrying the gentle soul of the creature he had raised. As the lion approached the hospital bed, Armin's weakened eyes fluttered open, and even in his frailty a soft smile appeared, recognizing the golden gaze of his old companion. Simba lowered his massive head, nuzzling Armin's hand, letting out a low, almost human-like sigh, a sound that echoed in the hearts of everyone present. The hospital staff, initially terrified, now watched in awe, tears streaming down their faces as this improbable reunion unfolded. In the days that followed, Simba refused to leave, lying outside Armin's room, watching over him, letting out gentle roars that seemed almost like conversations, almost like prayers for his rescuer's recovery. News of the miraculous visitation spread, drawing reporters, conservationists, and animal lovers from far and wide, all eager to witness the bond that defied nature itself. Slowly, with the lion by his side, Armin's health began to improve. Perhaps it was the magic of that connection, perhaps it was the sheer willpower inspired by the creature he had once saved. But day by day he regained strength, his cheeks gaining color, his eyes regaining their spark. The doctors marveled, attributing the rapid improvement to a combination of care and what could only be described as a miracle. Weeks later, as Armin finally took his first steps out of the hospital, Simba followed at a distance, now tamed not by confinement, but by the bond of love and mutual respect, always watching, always protective. The story became a legend in the village and beyond, a tale of loyalty, love, and the extraordinary connection that can exist between humans and the wild. Armin and Simba continued their visits, not bound by fences or cages, but by a trust that had been forged in the fires of survival and nurtured through years of devotion. And though Armin knew Simba would eventually roam freely, he also knew that no matter the distance, the lion would always return, just as love and gratitude always find a way back to those who gave it freely. This remarkable tale reminded everyone who heard it that the world, despite its dangers and chaos, still holds moments of pure, unexplainable wonder, where kindness transcends fear, and the heart of a lion beats in rhythm with the soul of a human, teaching lessons of hope, loyalty, and unbreakable bonds that define life in ways words alone can never capture.